Akbar, for his personal use, he took only Ganga Jal. British ships were loaded with Ganga Jal. That was the only thing which would remain fresh. Yeah, I am also Naga only. Adiyogi himself is a Naga sadhu. Sanatan board, I think, is very needed. The future generations will appreciate this.
Mark Twain wrote about this, about what happened here, and we're talking about the 18th century when he wrote about it. And
see, one important thing is there are many aspects to it. People also came here for health. See, it is… there have been scientists in 1896, a British biologist came here and studied, and he said, there are bacteriophages in Ganga water especially, which specifically eat certain kind of bacteria. And they found particularly the cholera bacteria, which was cholera was rampant everywhere. But on the Ganga banks, they found it would not take such a toll as it was taking elsewhere. When they checked it, they found there are specific bacteriophages which eat only cholera bacteria.
Between you and your thought process.
Yes, see, they won't eat anything else. And how this is happening, this is conjecture, nobody really knows this, why they are here. They are there in many rivers, but here there are many more like that. Bacteria are eaten up. So this is why the water remains fresh. Ganga Jal, you take it and keep it in your home, it remains fresh for years. People keep it… you know, when they're young, they take it, and when the moment of death comes, they want Ganga Jal. They kept it there and it stayed fresh. When the British were sailing, when they realized this, always the British ships were loaded with Ganga Jal. Because for the 3-month journey, that was the only thing which would remain fresh. Otherwise, after a month, they'll be drinking dank water. So they had Ganga Jal. When Akbar went on military expeditions, sometimes which lasted 8 to 12 months, for his personal use, he took only Ganga Jal.
so you're saying the Mughals, the British…
It doesn't matter who, anybody who was smart enough. They realized the water has special qualities. Our Sundarlal Bhavaguna screamed on top of his voice that many ailments that I had have gone just because I live on the Ganga bank and every day drink Ganga water. In my own experience, I went to meet Sundarlal Bhavaguna when I was 19. I ended up meeting only Bimala Devi. I couldn't catch him, he was gone somewhere. In my own experience, from the age of 19, for 27 years I've trekked in Himalayan area every year by myself. When I did this, most of the time I have no arrangement of food, I'm just gone by myself. Most days when I'm trekking, just I drank water and walked 14, 15 miles in the… kilometers in the mountains, climbing, just with water, and you never felt fatigue or anything. Because it has that kind of thing. The explanations that the people are giving is because some part of the water is coming from deep crevasses in the glacier, it may be bringing out viruses which have been stored in the permafrost there. It may be coming out. This is just conjecture, nobody really knows this, but people have to find a logical explanation for everything. I don't know if that is the truth, but they are saying this. But the important thing is nobody can deny that this water has some special quality and it has nurtured life forever. And it nurtured not only the physical bodies, it also nurtured the mind and the capabilities, where somebody like Voltaire went out to say, almost anything valuable we have in Europe came from the banks of Ganga. He says astronomy, astrology, spiritual processes, everything, mathematics, everything came from the banks of Ganga. If you don't know anything else, he said, at least 2500 years ago, Pythagoras went to the Ganga banks and got geometry for us. It's his words.
Even Pythagoras got…
his geometry from here, everybody knows that now. It's just not in our textbooks.
There's one image that stood out for me while I was covering the Mahakumbh of the Naga Sadhus. They're very intimidating, you get a sense of them being very intimidating.
I'm not.
I hope you know what I mean, Sadhguru. They're very… you don't… I mean, the way I can speak to you, have a conversation with you.
Language.
I don't know if I can do that with a Naga Sadhu. No, and my question is this.
They're not for talking.
They're not. But, you know, I think there's a lot of curiosity about them, about their lives. What do you know about them, Sadhguru? Do they actually live somewhere deep in the Himalayas, like they claim? You've
Yes.
trekked them many times, you were telling me.
Yes,
also.
many times.
Have you seen a Naga Sadhu there?
Many, yes.
So is that where they come from then for the Kumbh? Because you see thousands of them, but in our daily life,
See,
they're
I
nowhere to
am
be
also Naga only.
seen. Of course.
It's just that today we have work in the world, so
Yeah.
we became a bit diplomatic in our approach, but nothing in our core has changed, we are the same.
Okay. But
Adiyogi himself is a Naga sadhu, isn't it? Doesn't he have a Naga on his
yes,
throat?
yes.
What else do you want? So, we are the same people. Just you have to change according to the situations to make yourself effective, otherwise you'll be out of place. What's the point? See, there are only two things in your life. Internally, profoundness of your experience, that's all. You may think it's marriage, you may think it's love, you may think it's success, you may think it's achievement. Essentially, profoundness of experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whatever you call it. Or somebody thinks it's drug, alcohol, meditation, whatever, or they saw God. Profoundness of experience, that's all you're looking for. But when it comes to the outside, impactfulness of our activity, this is all there is to life, there's nothing else, just look at it.
Yeah.
So when you do something, when you act in the world, you have to be impactful. Otherwise there's no need for action, you can close your eyes and sit in one place, that's better. Rather than doing action without impact. And if you have to be impactful, you have to be the way today the world is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot be impactful.
Very true. Yeah.
So, they've chosen just profoundness of experience. They're not interested in impactfulness of action. They're not for action.
And they don't care what anyone thinks.
That's what I'm saying. They're only focusing on one aspect, which is profoundness of experience and which leads to liberation. It's a flaky experience of the surface which traps you. Profoundness of experience, life liberates you. They're focused on that. They're not looking at the impactfulness of their actions. Well, I'm for both. Profoundness of experience is not a problem for me, so impactfulness of thing, accordingly I speak the language of the world.
सदगुरु जब ये बिल्कुल पर्सनल निजी चीज़ है देन वाई पीपल आर डिमांडिंग सनातन बोर्ड होना चाहिए और इसी सनातन को क्या
No, the thing is, without organization, nothing will last, nothing can be transmitted well without organization. So, initially, after, I went into a very profound experience, I thought I will just teach the way I want, I don't want to set up any organization, I don't like the boundaries of setting up a legal body, so I teach one program here and then right away into Himalayas, then go somewhere else and after 2 months teach another program, I did that. But once people gathered, you had to set up a place, you needed a legal entity, you needed all the things to do. The question is, will you do all this with absolute involvement and not get entangled, or will you get entangled? That's the whole problem. The problem with people is whatever they touch, they get entangled. If you can be absolutely involved without getting entangled, then it's fine. Sanatan board, I think, is very needed. Sanatan authority is needed because the future generations will appreciate this. Future generations don't want to go to heaven, they don't want to buy a ticket to heaven. Your children, you ask them if they want to go to heaven, they will say no. If you say no, God is living there, they say fine, but is there free Wi-Fi? That's what they will ask. Hello? So, they don't want to go to heaven, but ask them, do they want to become free? Of course they want. Right now they think drinking alcohol is freedom, smoking a cigarette is freedom, taking a drug is freedom, but their idea of freedom will mature. It will mature. They will understand at some point, this is not freedom, this is a bondage by itself. An addiction is a bondage by itself, because if you cause any experience within you by using anything from outside, either a situation or or a chemical or whatever, you will get enslaved to that. If you have to be happy, you must sit on the Ganga bank. If you have a problem, then tomorrow if you can't be here, you will be unhappy. So the important thing is, freedom means where I am, what I am doing, what I have, what I don't have, does not determine the course of my life. How I am is determined by me. This is mukti right now. Let's make it happen.